Hello everyone, welcome to the latest edition of the Brian Boyer Show. Alongside A-State head women's basketball coach Brian Boyer, I'm Brad Bobo. We come to you heading into the final week of the regular season. A-State split a pair of games last week, a win here against Texas Arlington, a loss in the final road game of the regular season. And Coach, we'll talk about both games specifically, obviously as we go along here, but in general, I think you'd been a little bit concerned maybe with some of the performances, even in the wins, and I guess maybe Saturday's a deal where, unfortunately, we're still dealing with young people. Sometimes they may have to lose a game to kind of get the point across.
Well, you hate that, and you know, we had talked about it actually all the way since before the Georgia Southern game, and one of the things, and of course, as a head coach, I reminded my team of this after the game Saturday is, you know, one of our practices, as I said, you know, I'm trying to help you to avoid what's going to happen, and we're going to be sorry one of these days when we lose, and it's going to be too late, and you know, you hope that you work through that, but you know, defensively we just have not been very good, and we're just kind of getting by with our offense, and you just felt like it was going to get us at some point, and it did in this case, and it's unfortunate that you know, we weren't able to resolve that before it did bite us like it did, but you know, that's the way it went.
The week started off with a hard-fought win at the Convocation Center against Texas Arlington, 67-62 the score there, as we'll take a look at some of the highlights. And this is a ball game, Coach, where I know Texas Arlington had your full attention coming in here. They're playing as well as almost anybody in the league.
Yeah, they are, and you know, one of the top defensive teams, not only the conference but the nation. I think they had the 11th ranked defense in the nation coming into it, and they've got really good size. Freshman, that's, you know, probably going to be freshman of the year. And a very good team, and we, you know, they had our attention, and we responded. A really good first half, and really great defensive first half. Kind of the team of old really got out and pressured, forced a lot of turnovers, which allowed us here to get out in the open court. You see Jamie there getting out, and Khadijah with the follow. Put back there, and again, those things are all coming off of the defensive end, getting some turnovers and getting out in the open court.
Which was one of your keys specifically against this opponent.
Well, it was because of their size. You know, they're tough to score on in the half court. And while we're able to hear, you know, good pass from Hannah to Lawson, this is what you needed to do here. And you see Hannah get the steal, great anticipation there, getting a layup. And, you know, we did that. We forced 17 turnovers in the first half. Here's another one, great steal, and then an one, good strong move there by Khadijah, good pass by Brittany Gill. But, you know, part of, I was almost a little disappointed we didn't have a larger lead at halftime because of the fact we forced 17 turnovers. Really thought we had a chance to really open this thing up, and you know, unfortunately Arlington was able to keep it within reach.
Yeah, they shot a high percentage in this first half, to your point. The difference is, because of the turnovers, you were just able to take, I would think, 9 or 10 more shots just in the first half.
Yeah, right. Just simply limited their opportunities to score. And but again, there's a good move. That's a great move by Jazz, getting around the 6'5" post. You know, knowing you can't go over her, you can't shoot over. It's a good decision to go around. And then Khadijah continuing to shoot the ball really well there from 3. And we get to the second half, and again, you know, we just weren't very good defensively. You know, just a step slow, and in UTA they make you pay if you are. Fortunately, at this end, we just continued to score just enough to keep the lead.
Yeah, you saw that 3 a little bit earlier from Khadijah Brown-Haywood right ahead of the buzzer at the half that made it a 14-point ball game. And then, you know, much like the game down there, Texas Arlington came back in the second half. In fact, even took a 1-point lead in this one.
Well, they did, and again, here's another steal by Hannah. Great decision there to pull up and avoid the charge there. And again, they shot a high percentage again in the second half. And you know, the difference is we didn't force the turnovers. Again, we forced 17 turnovers in the first half and only 6 in the second half. So again, we gave them more opportunities to score, and you know, they did that huge 3 there by Drea. Really big 3, you know, getting late in the game, and they had cut the margin, or it was still a very tight margin. That was a huge shot that we needed there. And then a strong penetration there again by Drea to get the layup.
See some defense late, and one thing, well, we won't see, but Jasmine Hunt at the line actually went 7 of 8 and hit some big ones for you down the stretch.
Yeah, you know, she again continued to really battle, and you know, their interior defense is really good. I mean, they get really good size, you know, 6'5", 6'3", in the posts they bring off the bench, very physical. So, they make it tough to score inside. But, Jazz, getting to the free throw line is, as long as you make them, is as good as the field goals. So, Jazz just found ways to get points, and on this particular game, it was at the free throw line.
As is become the case, A-State shoots 45% or better again in this win. Once again, 4 players in double figures. It was Khadijah Brown-Haywood who actually worked around some foul trouble to lead the way with 17 points and 6 rebounds. So that put A-State at win number 19 on the season. Their first crack at number 20 came Saturday at Texas State. We'll talk about that ball game. We'll also bring you a look at Agua Abanabo and set the stage for the final week of the regular season when the Brian Boyer Show continues right after this timeout.
Can't stop, won't stop. Where the brakes at? I give him that diddy bop. Make moves or make excuses. Don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. I'm my biggest problem. Don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. You can't stop me.
Welcome back to the Brian Boyer Show. Arkansas State played its final road game of the regular season Saturday in San Marcos, Texas. A spot last year, Coach, you got yourself at a hole in early, was able to get out of it. This time, not the case. The hole got as deep as 22 points early in the second half. Got all the way back within 2, but ended up falling by 9, 83-74.
Yeah, and again, just we just were not very good defensively. This team, they averaged just around 60 a game, and we gave up 41 in the first half, and their field goal percentage nearly 60%. And again, we actually scored decently enough again, but we were just. We couldn't get the stops when we needed, and you credit again. It's not all on Texas State hit some really good shots. They are talented. I've said all along. I think they're very talented. They've got a good inside-outside game. They've got some guards that can really shoot it, especially if they get themselves going. They're streaky, and they got it going. Saturday, and once they did, we just could never get them out of it.
Yeah, one stretch, the end of the first half, into the first 5 minutes of the second half, they hit 14 of 17 shots in that stretch, and that was when the lead got up again. 15 minutes to go. It was a 22-point ball game.
Well, you just never felt like, in the flow of games, there's sometimes teams go on runs, and you feel like you can get it under control. Timeouts. Get a score here and there. You can get things under control. And this was just one of those where you just never felt like you could get it under control. And even coming out of halftime, that was the chance where we thought we could. And that probably ends up being the stretch that beats us. Is again, you and I have been around together long enough to know how important I think that start of the second half was. And this is a case where if we have a decent start to the second half, we probably keep things under control and manage it. But again, they pushed the lead even bigger, and we still came back and gave ourselves a really realistic shot to come back and win the thing. And but we just had to work so hard to get back within to cut it to 2 that you just felt like we were done. We had worked so hard that we couldn't get over the top.
For the second straight season at Texas State, you get a shot in the arm from Jess Flannery, who came in and hit 4 threes and finished with 14 points.
Yeah, she, what can you say about Jess? We continue, we put her in tough situations, and when we need big threes, we put Jess out there. When we need big moments, we put Jess out there, and she has a tendency to respond. And this was another one of those cases. Even in the first half, when the game was still, a tight ball game, subbed her in for Hannah, ran a set play right away. She drills a 3, and kind of got her confidence going. And second half. The great thing about the second half is it wasn't only her 3-point shooting. She got in the offensive boards. She posted up. She did a lot of things to help our team beyond just shooting a 3.
That loss paired with UALR's win in Arlington on Saturday gives the Trojans the regular season title as we look at the Sun Belt standings heading into the final week of the regular season. Coach, still one win away from a whole lot of things, but most importantly, nailing down that number 2 seed.
Yeah, which you know, certainly would be huge. We need to get at least one, if not both of these this weekend. One more win would guarantee you at least the number 2 seed going into the tournament. And you know, and my thing too is, you know, you look back to last year. You know, we won the league, you know, with 4 losses. You know, we won at 14-4, and you know, if somebody would have told me going into this year you could go 16-4, which is still a possibility for us, and not win the league, I'd have been like, wow, really? And you know, so you really just compliment Euler. I mean, what an amazing year they've had. I mean, to run through assuming you know they win later this week, but to get through this 20-game schedule with only 2 losses, you just credit them, because you know where we're at, and if we were fortunate enough to win these 2 this week and finish this thing with only 4 losses, there's nothing to be disappointed about with that. That's a heck of a season, and you know you just got one-upped by Little Rock.
We'll take a look at the games coming up this week at the Convo and introduce you to A-State freshman Ago Abanabo after a break on the Brian Boyer Show. We're back on the Brian Boyer Show. Arkansas State's roster this year made up of 7 players from the state of Arkansas, 7 from the state of Texas, and then Khadijah Brown Haywood from Illinois. But one of those Texans and one of that big bunch of freshmen here at Arkansas State is Ago Abanabo, a very interesting young lady, as you'll find out now.
Karate. The martial art that developed in Japan has become a renowned sport across the globe. Even one of Arkansas State's own women's basketball players, Ago Abanabo, a freshman from Texas, holds a black belt in karate.
I got started in karate at first from my uncle, because whenever we were smaller, around like 8 or so, we always told him that we wanted to do karate, like we wanted to do it. But that's when we were younger. And then when we grew up a little bit, he had put us in karate. And then that age, we really didn't want to do it. I started when I was 11 years old. And then during the process of having practice and everything, I didn't really mind it. It wasn't really that fun until I started getting like higher rankings, and I was like, okay, like, because I was pretty good at it. Me and my cousins all did it. And then whenever we got our black belt, we wanted to continue to get our advanced degrees or whatever, like advanced black belt and like 2nd degree and 3rd degree black belt. But basketball got in the way, and we wanted to stick to one sport, because me and my cousins did it, and we all did basketball too, so we had to quit. Basketball has taken over my time, so I don't think I could ever go back to it, but maybe when I get older, I want to put my kids in karate, because there's a lot of stuff that you can learn from karate.
Well, it is, and you know, I don't know anything about karate, but I do know this about Ago, is that it doesn't surprise me of her abilities in that, because you know how athletic she is. When you're talking about running, jumping, you know, strength, flexibility, all that, you know, I would assume that goes right into karate. And you know, Ago, very proud of her. You know, again, as we all know, it takes a long to these freshmen to adjust to this game. And the thing you like about Ago, and I even go back to yesterday's practice, I felt like our 3 post players had their best practice of the year, and we're March 1, and real proud of how each of them are developing, and certainly Ago as well.
The final week of the regular season is here, and it's nice to spend the entire week at the Convocation Center, as your team will. Starting Thursday night, South Alabama comes in here, and it really feels like a long time since you played South Alabama in Mobile. There's been a bunch of basketball played since then. Yeah,
it has. It was our first conference game back. We played them in 2014, didn't we? So again, anxious more than anything to see our team, see how we respond from Texas State, see how we respond from that loss. You you know, this team has a lot of pride, and especially when I'm talking to these upperclassmen, their goals, what they want to accomplish in an NCAA tournament, and knowing that the conference tournament is just 1 week away. You know, we need 2 wins this week, but I think more than anything, we need to get our confidence back, our defense back, you know, our edge back throughout this week as we head into the Sun Belt tournament next week.
It shouldn't be hard for your team to find an edge on Saturday because senior day, last day of the regular season, Louisiana Lafayette comes in here, and certainly I'm sure a trip to the Cajun Dome will be fresh on your team's mind.
Yeah, it will, and but you know, I think the thing that you know, Lafayette's a good team. You know, it's interesting when you look up and down the standings right now. I mean, you've got you know, a Troy team that's on the verge of winning 20 games, and you got a Lafayette team that's close to winning 20 games. We can win 20 games. Little Rock's already won 20, and you know, Arlington and Texas State, you know, probably not going to get to 20, but they're flirting with it. So, and Lafayette's one of those teams. You know, they get a chance to win 20 games regular season, and you know, so they're a good team. They beat us down at their place, and they're a challenge for us because they really have no true post players. The quickness, the speed, their harassment defensively, they're able to take you out of a lot of things.
A-State would just 1 win this week would have its 2nd consecutive 20-win regular season. That hasn't happened since 1992 and 1993. Coach, the Arlington game last week, we saw a big turnout, especially of students. And when that game got close in the second half, that made an impact in the ball game.
Well, it did, and you know, I've said off and on throughout the year, you know, the fan support. You know, we need the fan support. You know, to help us get over top. But another thing too is, you know, I just encourage people to come out and see this team. I will still stand by, and I've told my team this. I'll argue with anybody, depending on what happens this week, that this could be the best regular season in women's basketball history at Arkansas State. I mean, you got a team that's capable, could win 21 regular season games, which would tie an all-time record. Strength of schedule, their RPI are still in the 40s, one of the top 40, top 50 teams in the nation. It's a team that and not only that, they've done it right. They play hard, they handle themselves the right way, and I just think this community, the students, people, they should be proud of this team and come out and support them.
2 more chances to support A-State: Thursday against South Alabama, and then Saturday for Senior Day against the Raging Cajuns before we all head to New Orleans for the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. Coach, good luck this week.
All right, thanks.
So we'll see you at the Convocation Center, and maybe back for a regular season wrap-up on the Brian Boyer Show. Until then, for the coach, I'm Brad Bobo. So long, everyone.